Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Off Rift podcast. We're back for episode 2. I'm Mercury once again, joined by Vestion and Bluepanda. We've got a lot to talk about after the first week of games. As always, you can submit your questions in the answering machine channel on the Discord, and if we have time, we'll get to them. But overall, I think as we get into things for week number 1, a pretty good showing for all of our teams. Well, most of them. Oh, sorry, one moment.
Think looks better than they. Seems like Beer is coming
There we go.
completely
Sorry.
at roughly the same level.
Oh, sorry.
Is
I
Secret Wales?
I was adjusting my my disc. I switched over to a new recording software, so we cut out the first little bit of that that you were saying through Discord there.
Oh,
Sorry
I
about
don't
that.
remember. Team Secret Wales looking about a bit stronger than I may have expected. Vikings looking strong, but they were also against a much easier opponent. I think Ground Zero, to me, were the most impressive team. Obviously a little bit biased, but realistically, I think the fact that they were able to take a game of Team Secret Wales, who are essentially the same roster, coming off the back of coming second of 2025 LCP, was really surprising. They didn't get the series win. They kind of got smashed in games 2 and 3, but you know, the fact they got a win in the first place was already impressive. And then to come in and be able to take down DCG in a 3-game series as well was really impressive. Just by virtue of, again, it's a team that's only just come together versus a team that's been together for a year. So I think most impressive team to me was Ground Zero, closely followed by GARM, because while I did have them as the top of my leaderboards, they were a lot more dominant against CFO than I expected. And Drakthar in particular absolutely decimated Shadow. So I think that was really impressive and a good sign of things for GARM.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the day that I wasn't there and didn't quite get to get, the full in-depth look, I agree with Ben. I was hugely impressed by Ground Zero, honestly, and to be fair, I was impressed by both them and DCG because while yes, GZ won. On my money, that's probably one of the best series I think we've had in the LCP. Like, it was
Oh
not
yeah.
because one team was bad that they lost. It was just because it was that close. Both teams were playing so very, very well, and ultimately, it just came down to one team was able to capitalize that little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even after that 2-1 loss to Ground Zero, like sorry, Team Secret Wales, like you were saying, I think there's a few things they need to clean up, but obviously that's comes with the territory of that lack of time. But yeah, that Ground Zero versus DCG series, especially in that game 3, Husha really proving himself as the MVP there. He just made Pop 9 look absolutely irrelevant in that third game and across the series as a whole. Even that Wukong performance, like you mentioned, CFO looking shaky, but again, sure they have a low sample size, and I think GAM was expected to beat them, but definitely not like that. There was a little bit of suspect play from Driver in 2274, the Scion ult into the wall. I don't know what was like casting that because that was an interesting moment on the co-stream.
Well, look, 2274. Last round, last episode of this podcast, I talked about his Nautilus going 0 and 14.
Yeah.
He had a bloody good effort at matching that on the Nico. A very, very good effort. It was down to the wire on whether or not he could match that scoreline, and unfortunately, that is a really bad sign. Now, admittedly, of course, Taki and Garm are a very, very good team. So they weren't, in my books, expected to win. They've got a long way to go until they are, at a similar position as what they found themselves at the entirety, I guess, of 2025. But that is a really rough start because Nico's a champ that, yeah, you're going to die sometimes, right? You're primary engaged, so you'll go in, get off your ultimate, die, whatever, job's done. Half the time, he wasn't even able to really do that. Like the play down bot, which they did admittedly end up winning, he's looking for an angle in, accidentally Zonya's, and it's just golden before even getting into the team fight. They win this fight somehow, but it's just like these are the issues. And again, to his credit, we saw somewhat similar issues from HongQ early on last year, right? Dying out of card, getting caught out of position quite a lot, and he was able to shore up those issues. So I'm hoping he's going to be able to do the same thing, but it certainly wasn't as good of an entry into the LCP as what HongQ's did look like, despite the mistakes.
Absolutely. I think one team I wanted to talk about, though, is Hawks. I think despite the 0-4 record, they definitely didn't look like it. I mean, Evie, I think, had 4 solo kills on the Cassante across the weekend, right? For one of the older players in the league as well. I'm expecting to see, I would like to see at least something. Obviously, I put them, I think, 6th overall in the power rankings. Their strength of schedule is a little bit tough looking forward, but that's definitely a strong sign for them.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good start for SHG. Like, again, they didn't get a win, but yeah, I think Evie really has been the one that shined. I wasn't that impressed by anyone else, unfortunately, just yet. But yeah, Evie's looked really, really solid, and as you know, Panda and myself both commented on, his first 2 games have been better than almost the entirety of 25. So yeah, good start for him. Still a lot to see out of people like Arya, who we know can do better, but obviously that can come with time.
And the last 2 teams that we haven't really talked about as well, MVK and Dead FM. I think it was sort of expected, the win that the MVK had over Dead FM. Maybe they can make playoffs, but Dead FM looked a little bit like a collapse so far this weekend.
Panda, mate?
Oh, look, I can't really speak to it, unfortunately, because that was the day I
you
wasn't
weren't
there.
there that day.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
busy, doing other things.
How was the concert?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was amazing. Ed Sheeran is a showman unlike few others. If you do get the chance to go see him, do it. It was an amazing show.
We're not sponsored,
just
Ed, but
don't
if
do
you
it.
wanna sponsor the
Don't do
podcast,
it
go
on
ahead.
LCP night.
Yeah, don't do it on a night where it's CFO versus Gum.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Although from the sounds of it, I really didn't miss out on all that much. So
No, you did. I
Maybe.
mean, to be honest, I think even though it was a quick 2-0, it was still a very important series. But anyway, back to the topic: DFM versus Vikings. I mean, yeah, look. To be honest, the firepower is just not there for DFM. Nothing against the players, but they lost the key to their success in Aria. He was the one guy that was like the shining light. Citrus came in at the end and was as well, but I mean, we didn't see him on an assassin, right? And in Split 3 last year, what did he find the success on? Nocturne, Talon, Kiana. Didn't get to play those. That's not what are being played. I mean, we see Kiana banned. That's about it. But it's like, I don't know. If you don't have Arya, it just feels like this team is a little lost. Now, when Momo's back, if he hopefully recovers from his health issues, maybe they'll look like a different team. Because Ray is just not got that firepower. He's a very solid laner, don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with how he plays the game. But you need someone with that dog in them. And at the moment, nobody really in DFM has that dog in them to be able to be the one that carries the game, right? You look at every single other roster. There's at least one lane that is like, okay, yeah, he can knuckle down and carry a game for us when it needs to be. Or he can be that guy that makes an explosive play that gets a game broken wide open. And looking at this DFM roster, they just don't have that. And if you don't have that, right, you can be a very well-rounded team. I mean, for example, you can look at like Gen G. Everyone on that team, admittedly, can be the playmaker, but it's not like, okay, there's just this one guy we're relying on, right? So obviously it's a weird example to use because they can all just carry, but they're a really well-rounded team. But I don't even think necessarily DFM are that either. I'm also really perplexed by getting rid of Harp for Gang, because I actually think Harp was better than Gang last year, and he was already on DFM. So I'm not sure what the thought process is. Maybe Gang's a bit of shot caller. Don't know. But I think they are looking very lost. And hopefully if Momo is able to return, that can sort of fix those issues. For Vikings, still, I think hard to judge where they are. They were against DFM. They were very dominant against DFM. I really liked them picking up that Ashe Mel lane. I don't think it'll work every lane phase, as I sort of commented on the cast. It's really good against a lane like a Aphelios Thresh, where there is no way to really pull a trigger. It's a Thresh hook, which can be blocked by a Mel, and so it just gave complete dominance to that bottom lane of Vikings. I don't think they'll get away with that again against a team not willing to just blind pick the Aphelios Thresh, but it's good to show that they are still being innovative, because that's the one thing that Vikings have always succeeded with, is their innovation. So getting that on the board early is a promising sign, because that has been where they succeed. But still, I'm not confident enough to say just how good or bad I think they are, because again, I think they were against the weakest team in the competition.
Absolutely. And I mean, we briefly talked about Drakthar, but a lot of the new players debuting in the LCP this year are looking like some of the best in their respective roles, right? Drakthar, Florin, you got Yijung, even BA. I would consider look like a top 3 support in that series. HongQ, of course, I don't think he's ever going to get that Ari for the rest of this split. All of these players potentially could compete. Obviously, GAM is probably going to be that number 1 team this split, but heading into MSI and Worlds, there's a lot of possibilities.
I can't even believe you're not talking about Orca and his amazing innovation of the Zaheen support. Like, this guy is literally willing to push the
I
envelope to the
erased
point.
that game from my mind. That was not something I ever want to see again.
Genuinely, it took a bit of recovery after that game in the break for both Ben and I. We were sitting there like, you could kind of understand, like, there is a logic to it, but like it didn't feel like there was. It didn't even feel like it was a real committal to the pick. They were like, oh yeah, we'll put Zaheen, and they were just like,
and then we'll go
disposed.
Aftershock
Like,
and Deadman's. Yeah, instead
like,
of actually going for
was,
the build that we've seen like people try on the PBE in the past.
Like, it felt like it was just a shoulder shrug pick, like, yeah, okay, whatever, let's do it. And then they were just like, yeah, play it as you would. Like, there was no real deeper level of thought, it felt like.
I think it sucked.
Yeah, well, it did. It very clearly did, except for that one situation where the other bot lane decided that they wanted to push between the 2 towers and then scrap there in a minion wave. And even
that was
like, it was a very, very near miss.
Yeah, I think overall that's sort of the message of the first week was a lot of things looked like they needed to be refined, but overall, you know, especially like I mentioned, some of these rookies coming in, once they get rolling, they actually might take over. I'll talk about a bit later, but I think Drakthar could be the next thing that not only GAM's looking for because of the departure of Levy, but I think a lot of these teams need these players to rally behind, and they're looking like they might actually be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to call them rookie because they're not like 17-year-old.
Fair.
They're not HongQ, right? The only person in the league that is equivalent to HongQ is 2274. Everyone else has played competitive for a few years. I mean, Beer's been playing competitive for like 8 years now. So it's really hard to call them a rookie. They're a rookie when it comes to being in the LCP.
Yeah, that's sort of what I mean. Yeah.
But it's like they're still not necessarily, you know, going to have a lengthy amount of time of playing competitive League of Legends when you compare it to the likes of HongQ, 2274, most of the Team Secret Wales roster. Florin is another example, actually, or also a very young player. I think he's either 17 or he's 18, turning 19. He's either turning 18 or 19 this year. But I do think he has looked rough as well. The 2 rookies we have both looked pretty rough. Like DCG, they've looked fine as a whole, but Florin has been struggling quite a bit in the laning phase. And it's sort of been saved by the rest of the team a lot of the time. They weren't able to save it in the Ground Zero series, despite the fact that they were up like 5k gold in both of their losses. So a lot of concerns there. It's really hard to compare, right? I can't compare any of the players that we have right now to the likes of HongQ, where HongQ was making some dumb decisions. He was making some mistakes, and that's fine for a rookie. But you saw by the end of Split 3, they were all gone. But he was never losing lane. He was never getting solo killed twice in a counter matchup. You know, this was just not things we were seeing. And so, unfortunately, while it is always good to see rookies, and they have so many years to improve and get to an amazing spot, just yet, and it's only week 1, no one has inspired like a whole lot of hope to matching the levels of success we've seen out of HongQ. That's not to say they're not amazing players, right? But like, for me personally, I mean, it was very, very emotional and moving to see how well CFO were able to do at internationals. And so that's what I'm looking towards. I'm looking towards replicating that success. Winning the league's one thing. You know, there's going to be one of these teams win the league. So whatever. Whoever wins the league wins the league. What I want to see is like who can step up at the international stage, match and even top CFO's last success. And right now, I don't really see a team able to do it. And that's including going with Drakthar, right? Because Drakthar's looking really good, but he's looking really good in a league that doesn't have Junja. So it's a whole different sort of barrel of fish in that regard. Because Junja, again, and I'll say this forever pretty much, that guy is one of the GOATs of the region of all time. And he was definitely the best player in the region last year, the year before, the year before that, the year before that. So it's very, very difficult to judge.
Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest concern, and it always was sort of my biggest concern coming into this year, is just how much change there was. Like, you going from that season, and it is a concern that I have for HongQ well, because you're this young player, you're coming in, you look incredibly good with this CFO roster. And look, I can understand that there are bigger and better opportunities internationally, but if it if it were up to me, and that's a far cry, it was never going to be up to me. I think the CFO probably would have had even more success this year if they had stuck together as that six-man core and looked worlds better. Honestly, I reckon they could have done some real damage pushing into top four positions consistently through all three international events. But this change up, you've completely gutted CFO. Junja and HongQ have gone off and done their own thing. Driver's gone. You're playing with rest, so it's one half of that coin that was the top lane for this team. It's just I don't see us having quite the same year that we did last year, and I think that's something LCP fans will probably have to prepare themselves for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's obviously we are 1 week in, so all of this is taken with a tiny grain of salt.
Sure.
But
A lot can change.
I guess as we look out to the broader like metagame, I think LCP teams are sort of adapting, decently well to this new meta. I think absolutely though, Jayce is a bait pick for sure.
I don't think so. So this is something we've seen in the past a lot with competitive League of Legends, and it was even more sort of shown back when there wasn't Fearless Draft. But right now, right, we've got a sample size of 3 Jayce games, I believe. Maybe it was 4. But every single Jayce game we've seen has been the team you'd expect to lose, picking Jayce, and then losing. And so it's like, okay, yep, they've got their hands on a really, really strong team. There's absolutely no way to argue that Jayce isn't OP. Jayce is disgusting right now. So there's no way to argue that the champ's bad. So what is really the reason it's losing? Is it because of compositions built around it? Because it can be, right? Quite often in the past when we saw Jayce top, it would be like, okay, we've got a Jayce top. And that was when Jayce wasn't ridiculously OP. He was still strong. But there was a comp that just wasn't built around it. Like it was just, okay, Jayce is here for what? And we are probably dealing with some of that, but we're also just dealing with the fact that the team that is expected to lose is picking a champ that's really OP, but then just still losing. And I don't think there's too much to read into the champ in this regard. Like, for example, over in the LCK, it still hasn't made it through a ban phase, right? It still has not managed to make its way to the first stage of pick and bans. It is very globally recognized as a very disgusting champion. But if you are a better team, you can afford to give it over to try and take away other things that make the game a little bit more frantic. Like the Poppy, your Nikos, your Akalis. These things that make the game flow a little bit stranger. To make the game more normal, they're going to have a Jayce. Whatever, we can still bully them away. And that's what we saw Drakthar do, right? Picks Jarvan into the Jayce and just invades him the whole time. Just constantly invading him. All of Garma there every time he does it. And it was just like, okay, well, what's Shadow supposed to do here? He couldn't really do anything. It was on his team to try and help him. They weren't able to. And so, yeah, I think that's what we're seeing with the Jayce so far. I think the sample size is a little bit too low to really judge the strength of this champion. But, I mean, again, it could just be that the LCP teams aren't good at playing it, right?
Well, I mean, no, okay. So if we look at the global statistics for Jayce at this stage in top level competition, 7 picks so far this year, 75 ban.
Yeah.
Like that is a 10-to-1 ban ratio.
And most of the picks are LCP.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
So it's 3 and 4 at the moment. 3 wins, 4 losses. 3 of those losses are the inferior teams in a matchup in the LCP.
Okay.
So if you take away our sample size, it's going 3 and 1 globally with a 5.6 KD. So I mean, the champion is clearly doing a lot better internationally than it is on the LCP. And I think it comes down to what Ben said. It's the team that's getting them not being the better team in that matchup.
Yeah, there used to be this one split of PCS where Varus was just like globally, just pick and ban absolutely everywhere, and only in the LCP was it like 0 and 10, and it was because every game the team that was like, and this was back when there was 10 teams in the PCS, and the bottom 5 were just much worse than the top 5. And so the top 5 teams would just give them whatever they wanted and then just beat them anyway. And so they were getting Varus first pick every game and then just losing because it just didn't matter what they got. They were just the worst team. And less so now, LCP's a lot closer than it was in the past, but there is still a difference between who was the top team and who was the 5th, 6th, 7th spot team.
Yeah. Now the one jungling champion that is really OP at the moment, Jarvan, ironically enough, internationally, has been played 22 times and has a 73% win rate. Like That's not a stat that you see all that often in any role at the moment in competitive play.
Yeah. There we go. Fix the light.
Oh, there
sorry.
we go.
Been playing around with that for a while.
Hell yeah.
My tripod's all fucked up, and it's okay. Sorted.
What are your guys' thoughts on how teams have been utilizing the coach comms and also the side selection thing? 'Cause for those who don't know, you either when you win the 2v2, you can now pick first pick or the side that you go on, and we've seen a lot of teams opting for red side and second. It's very odd to see.
I don't know how to read into that yet, to be honest. I don't think there's enough sample size. It's so hard to tell what's better when I think still it'll be true that second pick will be better as the series progresses. I think the red side has been a priority because it's got easier access to the dragons, which have quite often become the main win con for a lot of these games. So in that sense, and that is only just I'm just guessing why, but I think red side again because of the dragons. And second pick, I don't know if it's necessarily better. I think it is as Fearless Draft goes on, but even in a best of 3, I don't think that's deep enough into champion pools for side selection or counter pick to necessarily matter, especially when half these teams don't even utilize the counter pick. They'll just, we've got counter pick. What are we going to pick here? Oh, fuck it. We'll just pick Leona. It's like, oh, all right. Well, what's the point?
Just randomly picking, what was that champion they just randomly picked Anivia or they didn't pick Anivia. They banned Anivia and left Rise open. It was...
So yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's I don't know, but I think that was Team Secret Wales, right? And they picked something good into the Rise anyway from memory. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think, honestly, I don't think pick bans are utilized that well in the LCP anyway. So yeah, I'm not too certain about what's better in that regard. The 2v2s are cool. Like the Yasuo Yone one, for example, that was sick. A lot of them are really fucking boring though. Like the Cho'Gath, what was it? Cho'Gath something.
Yeah, what
another
was
tank, and it was just like, there's Zillion.
I think
Scion,
it was the first one that
Cho'Gath.
went to like 10 minutes or something. I was just so bored watching it.
Well, most of the ones on Friday also went for ages, and then the ones on Saturday were over and fucking before minions spawned.
Yeah.
So it was like it was a real change of pace, and then the first one set at Sunday was the Yasuo Yone, which was just sick. That was real fun to watch.
And then Darius Karma versus Varus Tarmkind. Oh. That
was a Friday one.
That was the Friday one that just nothing happened until they screwed up.
That one was exciting though. They were fighting. They were actively fighting. It was just no one would die. So that is fun. But then it was the Scion Zillion versus Cho'Gath, whatever it was, and it was just like we're just sitting here waiting for the ring. That was all that really happened.
Yeah, and as to the coach comms, I don't think I've seen enough to see how much it impacts. Of course, it is just going to improve things for the team, but I have yet to see direct cause and response type incident where coach comms has come through and then something drastically changes in the game's won.
Although I will say, I remember. Oh, you go.
I was going to say, Chowie actually spoke about his opinion on them, and he thinks coach comms are a bad thing for long-term success, but they're a good thing for immediate success.
Yeah,
because obviously the theory being, that's the theory. And so, in the game, even against Gam, there was I don't even know if CFO used coach comms. So I think
Gam definitely didn't.
Yeah. So I think it's just like if you don't need to use it, then it's their belief, or at least Chowie's belief, that you shouldn't. And so I don't know. Obviously,
believe it or not, that's a very similar attitude. Obviously, coming from Rainbow Six, you've got your tack timeouts that you can call throughout the game. In that part of the world, Southeast Asia was always very anti tack pauses, and would very rarely use it. It was only in the last sort of couple of years where they started to. But yeah, there were certain teams that just absolutely refused to take a tack timeout, and just insisted that even their opponents wouldn't take one just to keep the game going.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember just this morning I watched an interview with Drakthar where he basically said they are not using it at all. They think it's they can't gain anything from it, and I think it was in the LCK as well. One of the teams called a coach com and then immediately lost the fight because of the distraction in a way. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it it's gonna be interesting to see how it evolves. If it makes it to international events, I'm not sure if it'll be there firsthand. Obviously we don't have any confirmation one way or the other yet, but I think it'll definitely be a shock to the LCK and the LCP teams if they take it away.
No, I'm sorry, I don't see it making to international events because could you imagine, Western teams notoriously can tilt into oblivion. Could you
Yeah.
imagine Coach Comms come in the middle of a bad fight? These Western teams that would just giga tilt on the spot. I don't see it working. And honestly, as much as I do appreciate the innovation and there could be room for it, a poorly timed Coach Comms is just going to ruin a game.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just comes down to being a smart coach and using it at the right time, right?
Yeah.
To be honest.
Or
So,
sometimes, I think there was one where I can't remember which series it was. I want to say it was on Sunday, where Coach Com started, and then immediately a fight started, and it was it was instigated by the other team. So
yeah,
unfortunately,
but you can just shut up and let the fight happen. Like, you don't have
yeah.
to talk.
Oh yeah, no,
Right?
it is going to be a learning process where some coaches will feel, oh, I've started this, I need to use the time that I have, and some will be like, actually, well, I'm going to get more of my team out of this by shutting up.
I think you're hugely underestimating the intelligence of the coaches. I think most of them will see a fight happening and not be like, "Oh, you do this." To be honest, I don't think
No,
that's going
I
to be a
wasn't
learning
expecting
curve.
them to do that, but yeah. Look, you say that I've seen again Rainbow Six. I've seen coaches who,
Yeah, that's FPS players, man. It's a whole different kettle of fish. Get over the Rainbow Six, mate. This is League of Legends now.
Yeah. Different world over here.
Yep.
So going into I guess some fun overreactions for the year. Obviously, again, small sample size. This can be just some copium takes if you want, and then we'll get into our 90, 50, 10s for the year, for the first split, whatever you want to do. But fun overreaction first. I think honestly, I'm going along with your train of thought. I think I put CFO a bit too high after seeing their performance against GAM. If I'd go back and do that power rankings again, I'd probably put DCG and GZ third, to be honest. I know you're feeling vindicated. I apologize.
There's a long way to go. And one thing, obviously, I've had I talked to Kevin. I talk to him quite often, and one thing he said is that Pangyon obviously not speaking Mandarin yet, but he's coming along really, really quickly with picking up the language. And the issues we saw of Drakthar just completely handing it to Shadow can be overcome if all of a sudden you have that mid-jungle communication. But yeah, I think for first split at least, it's going to be a bit of a steep learning curve to get back to even similar levels of the success they found. Whereas GAM already seem like they've got it pretty well together. Team Secret Wales pretty well together. Ground Zero and DCG have a lot to come. Like Ground Zero's early games have all been pretty poor, right? Like even in their wins, it's been rough early games, except for the one win against Team Secret Wales. That was a really good early game. But both games against DCG, they got pretty smashed early game, and they managed to come back. 5k gold deficits. They'd found one random fight where Baron was alive, aced them, got the Baron, and all of a sudden the game was okay again. So there are a lot of things for them to overcome. DCG obviously the opposite. They had a 5k gold lead and threw it. So working on the stability of that HongQ, maybe getting used to being on in a major region again instead of the PCS, and not going for that flash under the mid tower. That's something that in the PCS probably worked out time and time again. And again, it's just getting accustomed to the big stage. So I don't really have that many concerns. But right now, there is things to learn from, and that's always good. One of the biggest things I was worried about all of last year was CFO were just kind of shitting on everyone. It's like, okay, well, you don't want to get complacent, go to international. You've just come off shitting on everyone. You haven't really improved that much. But luckily, they were able to improve the entire year round, whether it was with scrims, LCK, LPL, whatever it may be. They were able to improve. I'm sure they're going to be able to do the same this year, and much the same as the other PCS teams, Team Secret Wales, GAM, and whatnot.
Yeah, look, I think it's healthy for the region for sure that we no longer have this team that is just giga stomping everyone. But I think it is also then sort of exposing greater weaknesses, because some of those teams that were just getting dumpstered on didn't have enough time to showcase that there were actually other inherent problems. I mean, you look at SHG, they're very much suffering the same fate as the Chiefs right now, where they can start a game really, really well, but when it comes to closing it out, they just have no idea how to get that done in a timely fashion, and then they ultimately just end up getting rolled over. So I think it is going to be healthier for us this year. In terms of domestic competition, I think, yeah, like Ben said, internationally, we are probably in for a wake-up call.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
overreaction, though, my overreaction is Ground
Yeah.
Zero. I'm fucking winning split one. I don't
Oh,
give a
yeah.
damn anymore. Those guys have been good to me. I'm
Yeah.
now fully back in the boys. Oceania, Jimmyin, a true blue motherfucking Australian now. That guy, he's got his first win. Oceanic colours. That guy's a true blue Aussie. All right. Hoosha, he's getting there. He's only spent the one split on the Chiefs, so I can't quite give him the qualifications yet, but he is making his way there, to be honest. To be honest. And especially, again, back to Jimmyin. What a LeBlanc game, bro. That was the best game he's played over the course of a year and 1 week.
Yeah.
And it came one singular week under the black and green, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Perth Scorchers-esque
Yeah.
performance there on the pitch. It was just beautiful.
Oh yeah. Well, it was a Perth esports org that was the first Oceanic to make a top 8 at MSI in Pentanet.
Yep.
And now it's a Perth org getting the first win for Oceania in the history of the LCP.
All I'm saying is we better hope there's no Adelaide esports orgs that rock up, because that's where things get a bit dicey.
Well, MCOM exists.
Yeah, but I don't see them rocking up
Not in the
anytime soon.
LCP.
Yeah,
Not
fair.
in the LCP yet. Who knows?
Who knows?
The future.
I'll have to see. We'll have to get you out here to Perth and do like a finals co-stream if they end up winning.
Yeah. Look, I'll get on the horn to XL and Jar.
Yeah.
Listen, fellas, I'm going to need to come to Perth with tickets to a Scorchers game. Or Australia, if Jai's playing for Australia at that time. One of the two. Happy with either. You know? I'm a simple man.
Look,
simple man.
Optus Stadium is an absolute belter of venue. I'll give you that. I had a grand old time watching play there when I was over for just after Christmas.
Oh, question, Mercury. When you're co-streaming, are you listening to the English cast or are you doing the clean feed?
So I've got a clean feed, but I've got I've got you guys on just so I can hear. I haven't got it through OBS, so it's like 10 seconds behind. But every now and then I'll say something, and then Bluepanda will say it 2 seconds later. I'm like, well, screw it, I guess.
That wouldn't be me. I would have said it 2 seconds before you.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. No, the reason I asked, did you hear how many cricket references we've managed to get into the cast over the course of this weekend?
A handful. Yeah, I have noticed them, and I've been cognizant. I've been watching.
Yeah. That was kind of like, it wasn't even like a competition at the start. And then Jai's partner added me in a Discord server we're both in and said, are you guys having a competition of who can get the most cricket references into a cast? And we're like, fuck it, we may as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a good bit of fun, especially given that tie to cricket that Ground Zero has, and
for sure.
Yeah, it's not something that you wouldn't get that in America. You wouldn't get the North American casters making those niche jokes because of that
maybe it's hard Jack. I know how much he loves bringing up the NBA.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Raz
it's not the same.
Raz as well.
It's not the same. No one.
We count Raz as an APAC person here. He was on the OPL.
Yeah. Yep.
Back in.
He was also he was a coach as well.
He was. Yeah. Those are the good old days. I miss that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna go into my 90% prediction for our 90-50-10s. Okay. I think I kind of said above, low sample size, but even still, I think Drakthar is gonna be rookie of the year. If he counts as rookie of the year
for that.
Because of his I'm all on board. I'm all on board the Drakthar hype train.
Oh, fuck it. That's a big
90%. That's a big call.
I will be Drakthar's strongest soldier.
It's hard. What are they going to include as rookie of the year, though? Because he's an experienced pro, right? Like he's played years of league.
I think
so. That's because otherwise there's 30 rookies. Otherwise,
I think you I think by the official rules, you can't have played in a tier 1 tournament before.
Because he's played VCS prior to LCP's existence.
I think so, but that was during the time where it was sort of ambiguous feeding into the PCS playoffs.
No, VCS never fed into the PCS playoffs.
Oh, really?
That was only
they didn't. Yeah, they didn't. I'm not sure if it'll count then. Okay. Hang on, I gotta rethink things.
For this, it probably needs to be because we can't really tell. I think because I don't actually know. He might count as my point. Like I don't actually know. But we should probably just like the young kids, excluding Team Secret Wales, who again, you know, they've played an entire year now, so you can't include them. But I think that's like for the sake of not knowing exactly who qualifies. It's probably easy to do it that way.
Yeah. And my second one is, if he doesn't count, HongQ, I will be his strongest soldier as the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
After those Ari games, I'm a believer.
I mean,
you don't sound too convinced.
No, I don't. He got it handed to him by Jimmy, and so you know.
Fair, but I also saw what he did to Jimmy in the promotion series, so.
Oh yeah, but that was Jimmy in with an English-speaking roster. It's a different beast.
Jimmy in with an English-speaking roster off the back of what would have been one of the most devastating years that you'd been a part of competitively. So
Look, the confidence you get from hitting tab and seeing your top lane's name as One Jang is like, baby, you know.
Yeah, Yijang's pretty good. I love
Bluepanda was incredible, but Yijang is that dog.
I think the only
HongQ is a good bet. I'm just, you know, I'm ground zero now. I've got to root the
the only other person that I could potentially throw in that argument is maybe. Oh no, he's played for CFO in the past. Jayce would be the other one.
Oh yeah, no, he's played in the LPL, bro.
Oh, he's an old school guy.
Yeah, that guy's been to Worlds.
True. Yeah, no, just not quite.
All right. So what's your 90s?
My 90. Okay, my 90. I mean, my 90, I think, is going to be. Fuck, this is hard. No, you go first, Billy. I can't think of one. You go first.
Okay.
Because I have like easy ones, but I want it to be a little bit spicy, you know.
That's where we get down to the 50s and the 10s.
Yeah, I mean those are maybe. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, you're right.
My 90, and this is going to upset some people.
Ooh.
CFO don't make first stand or MSI this.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's.
You know what? I'm going to triple down. CFO are not making Worlds either.
Oh, interesting. Right. Okay, as the 90%.
How much of a change they've suffered this year? I think that there are just other teams that are probably going to put them through the ringer. If I had to put it down,
it's a much closer league. So I think it's fair, but I think by Worlds they'll have their shit together, you know, and they've still got an incredible coaching staff. But I mean, I think it's fair.
That's my hot take. That's my hot 90%. I want to be controversial.
Yeah. No,
okay.
I think that's fair.
Mean, I think my 90%. I'll go a different angle. I think at least by split 3, Ground Zero will have attended an international.
Yeah.
This is my 90.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like by split 3, I kind of expect there to be a very good possibility that the 3 representatives are all PCS. So
yeah, which is kind of wild coming into it, because I think in the off season there was a bit of a consensus that VCS looked pretty dominant overall, right? Obviously,
last year,
like no, coming into this year, right? Like with Team Secret Wales, with obviously BA who now coming in looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an odd to see that shift where it's like, oh, hang on a moment. Maybe 2 VCS teams won't make it. Maybe it'll be the Ground Zero Deep Cross show at Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been in the region for so long, and PCS have pretty consistently, for quite a long time now, been the better region. And by quite a long time, it's kind of been since those couple of years during COVID, where Vietnam could no longer attend international events, which was a big hit to them as a region. You know, it kills motivation, it kills the competitiveness. It was really sad for them. It's not their fault.
It was like 2 years, right?
Yeah, it was 2 years. And so I think at that time, pretty much as soon as that started happening, the PCS was just clearly a stronger region. The talent pipeline much better in the PCS. As much as I hate to touch on it, you know, like the what happened last year or the year before with the match fixing, like the massive match fixing blow up of the
like
VCS,
20 players or something, right?
yeah, 20 players or so got just nuked. Is like that's a massive hit, you know. And so I think it just makes sense that these players who are all relatively young from the PCS, now with the talent roster not being there, it's like pretty young talent in general coming from the PCS, and they're all really really good. You know, you got Chelsea, an LPL representative, much the same as Yi Zhang, Doggo the same, Shadow obviously. I mean, he's just straight from China. It's obviously LPL, one bit with BLG last year. It's these guys are just incredible. To be honest, they're really really good players, and I think obviously the Vietnamese players are really good too. But I think the talent pipeline that is there for the PCS is just gives them a leg up.
And it helps as well because of location, right? It's not like Europe where everything is right next to each other and they've got like, pretty well freedom of movement in terms of like visas and all of that between the various countries. We're sort of isolated by, long stretches of ocean and also, not exactly stable relations at times between certain areas of the region.
Sure, yeah. I think that makes it harder. In general, though, like they all can play on the Korean server. It's somewhat central to all of them. So they all get very good practice in that regards. And, even during the times of the PCS, it's actually famously in the PCS, the teams that were there wouldn't scrim each other. They'd just refuse to scrim each other because they'd be playing against each other. So they'd pretty much only scrim against, maybe Talon could have gotten like LCK, bottom of the LCK scrims, bottom of the LPL scrims. But more realistically, Challenger Korea, Challenger LPL, VCS teams, LJL teams, and they just wouldn't scrim each other domestically. So, they've always been able to scrim each other, and they always have scrimmed each other. But it is just, again, the talent pipeline that's been there for the PCS and LMS before it, and now LCP and the PCS with that, has just looked stronger. Like the willingness of CFO, for example. Like they had the chance to get Orca, and I think Orca's a really, really good support. And they were like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to go with 2274, the 17-year-old that came from our academy team.
Yeah, I guess probably hoping for a run it back of hoping for a run it back of something like HongQ, but I mean,
HongQ.
HongQ rather. HongQ, get them mixed up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, hopefully we'll see it pop off for him in the future. But moving on to our 50s, I think I'm kind of leaning on the Ground Zero train a little bit. I think we'll get a Deep Cross versus Ground Zero finals in one of these splits.
In one of the splits, yeah.
I think probably I'm going to call it now. For split 2, there's going to be Deep Cross versus Ground Zero finals.
Split 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And both teams are going to go to MSI.
Billy, mate.
Oh.
My 50. And this is probably going to upset Ben.
You said that last time.
No. There's even more so. My 50 is that Orca is going to find a win on the Zaheen support at some point this split. He's gonna crack the code. He's gonna make it work, and it will start happening more than just the one-off that we saw this week.
I don't know if Chowi's ever going to draft it again, man.
You mean Skywalk? But yeah.
Oh yeah, Skywalk.
Yeah. No, I don't think
Ground
it will,
Zero.
to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be picked again. But my 50 is my 50 is probably that Garm win split 1, I think.
Okay.
I think that's my 50. I think ultimately they look really solid coming in. Mostly the same roster, a side grade as it comes for supports, and it's seemingly a side grade as it comes for jungle. Obviously, the leadership probably not the same there for Drakthar, but in terms of in-game proficiency, was pretty flawless ultimately in that series. So, yeah.
I mean, we've seen obviously they announced like Kiaya was going to be promoted to the captain sort of role, and obviously Taki was that glue on Team Secret Wales, so hopefully he can bring that same energy to Garm. I think it's definitely a possibility, and I mean I think it's more than likely. We all had it in our power rankings as well, so it'll be interesting to see how playoffs shapes up towards the end of next month. But heading into our 10%, our ultimate copium takes, I'm going to start off. I think Yi Jung is going to father multiple Korean top laners at International this year. Multiple. Right? Zeus, Doran.
Fucking boy right there.
Yeah.
That's
Zeus
a
and Doran.
90%. You got this fucking backwards, mate.
Yeah. I think Yi Jung, I mean, like, in the PCS, right, in his rookie year, was like the best player of all time in that region. Moved to Ultra Prime, pretty not great team overall, but even still did well.
He
now
was
he's
the
back.
shining light. I didn't watch much, but I
Yeah.
got told that he was like the shining light of the team.
Yeah, he was like the one thing keeping them from being like the bottom of the barrel team. I think coming in, yeah, internationals this year, I'm expecting him to go to multiple, and every single time they're going to take the paternity test, and he's going to turn out to be the father.
Fair enough. My 10%, I already have this fucking locked and loaded, mate.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I feel sorry for them, but my 10% is that DFM remain in the LCP after this year.
Really?
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think the entirety of the LCP is very close now. But it's they've just lost their best players. You know, they don't have Udapon, who did a lot of carrying for that roster. Arya as well, both gone now. Like Momo's got a pretty tough load on his shoulders, and we yet to see just how good he can be. So maybe that'll change, but right now, yeah, I don't really see how they find success.
I wonder who we'll see like replace them. Obviously, it's way too early to tell. I don't even think we've got any tier 2 leagues up and running here at the moment, but it would be nice to see, if nothing else, that we can get a team in to take their place.
Yeah, I hope so. I certainly do hope so. And as always, I'll do whatever I can to help any Oceanic team that wants to, or Oceanic player or anything that wants to make that a reality. So I hope so. It's possible. There's absolutely zero reason why it isn't. In fact, I think the hardest part of it will be beating whoever wins the PCS and VCS, in my opinion. Because one of them you don't have to face. One of them is going through the regional merit. So you only have to face one of them, either VCS or PCS.
Might be a bit easier now that all the Frank Esports players and all the Deep Cross players are in the main league.
Yeah, literally, it got made easier. So,
this is the time.
It can't happen. Yeah.
All right, Bluepanda rounding us out.
All right, okay. I went controversial already. I'm going to go it again. The LCP representative at some point this year, whether it's first stand, MSI, Worlds, is going to meet JDG and beat them.
Okay. They're going to take down HongQ?
HongQ and Junja are getting dog walked by the current LCP representatives at one of the 3 events.
Okay. They've been looking pretty good so far in the few games they've played. JDG, they've looked pretty good, so I imagine they'll probably be...
Though, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was 2-1.
That's because IG have the best skin line of all time.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And they got Chromas as well that make it even
10% copium. I'm not anticipating it to happen, but
no, this is full copium, man. We got to go all in on this. This is what this is all about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I absolutely expect it to happen 10% of the time.
Yeah.
There you go.
10% of the time, it happens every time.
What are they at now? They're 2-1. They lost to IG, but they're 2-1 overall. They're 5-3. They're doing well in the group. I'm liking it. Yeah, let's. I mean, just in general, I think it'd be cool to see HongQ and Junja go up against our players. If nothing else than for that storyline. Oh man, I do not envy the casters, but that's going to be so fun.
Battle of the Hongs.
Yeah.
I love it. But I guess before we wrap things up, we can do, I guess, like a little bit of a preview into next week's games. Obviously, starting things off, I think Friday is going to be pretty stock standard. It's CFO, Dead FM, and MVK Garm. I think we're probably going to see 2-0s all across the board. Then we get into the rest of the weekend. We've got Team Secret Wales Deep Cross and Hawks versus GZ. So Team Secret Wales has to face off against both of the newcomers in the first 2 weeks. What are your guys' thoughts on these matches?
Yeah, I mean, I think Friday is a bit of a foregone conclusion, as you kind of said. Saturday, I mean, Team Secret Wales probably just the strongest out of them. I think they're probably 2-0 TCG, to be honest.
Ooh.
You know, like Ground Zero got a game against them, but it was the first game of the entirety of the LCP, and Team Secret Wales have done nothing but look better and better and better. So I think Team Secret Wales will come out pretty swinging. I don't. TCG is still showing issues, and Team Secret Wales honestly just kind of aren't. To be, like some of the issues we saw from them last year aren't even present outside of if you are able to control the pace of the game against them, you will be able to do pretty well. But DCG play a bloody scrappy PCS League Legends. Like they are the scrappiest of the PCS teams that we've seen over the course of last year and now this year. So they're probably going to very much play into a Team Secret Wales-esque play style, and Team Secret Wales are probably just better at it. So I think Team Secret Wales will win that 2-0. Ground Zero SHG. I mean, honestly, I think that's probably a 2-0 too, but a very close one. I think Ground Zero will win at 2-0 because SHG have shown their ability to play the early game pretty well, but have not shown they can end the game. And Ground Zero have shown the opposite, where they'll play the early game reasonably poorly outside of that one game of Team Secret Wales. But then they are able to hold on, and find their one-timer, Jimmy on the LeBlanc finding an angle, or if it's Husha on one of his engaged supports, junglers and finding an angle. But they always find an angle. And I think that's what SHG have struggled against. And unfortunately, it's pretty much seemingly the style of Ground Zero currently. So I think it will be a 2-0, but a very close one.
Yeah, my only opinions this week is it's going to be a really, really hard week to be a DFM or MVK fan.
Yeah.
Both teams going up against CFO and GARM respectively over the course of the weekend is probably not something that you want early on in your competitive year to keep morale up, but I don't think there's much more to speak. I reckon Sunday rather, is just going to be brutal. In fact, Friday and Sunday are just going to be brutal days. It is those matchups. I'd be very surprised if CFO or GARM dropped again in any of those matchups. I think Saturday's going to be the real one that could provide some entertaining gameplay.
And then, of course, looking further into the rest of this, obviously the Super Weeks start in week 3 and 4. We start on Thursday for both of those. So that should be pretty exciting. We got many more matches over the course of the next 2 weeks, and then playoffs to determine who makes it to first stand. But I think we've all basically covered everything going on over the course of the week. Now that the league is officially underway, are there any other things you guys wanted to discuss, to talk about?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll quickly congratulate obviously Pike and Logan for getting themselves the opportunity to cast the LCP. Obviously, I had the opportunity to cast with Pike in Bluepanda's absence on Saturday, and it was a good time. I did a bit of color instead of my usual play-by-play, and it was it was a good time with him. So yeah, all the best with that, as well as you, of course, Billy. But you already know that I have well wishes for you, so it's
he bullies me off screen. That's what he's not telling you.
Yeah, you guys don't know the comms for
the McDonald's drive-through right now.
To be fair, we bully each other pretty aggressively off camera.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole shtick. But you got to, right? I think that's what creates a good bond. So me and Billy are good friends, and but all the best to everyone doing it. And obviously, I'll be now co-streaming, and obviously, me and you can do it together sometime, Mercury. I'm trying to collab with as many people as possible, because I think it'll be much more fun than just sitting there yapping at a screen. So
it's very hard, especially with the clean feed, right? It's so hard to just sit there and just be with your own thoughts. So hopefully,
I only get the clean. I'm used to the clean feed, mate. Don't you worry.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he's not used to being alone with his own thoughts. He's used to be there saying shit at him.
Yeah.
Oh, Bo's in the chat. We got to get Bo on one of these weeks as well.
Yeah, the problem for Vestion is that he's not going to have anyone to play off when it comes to cricket jokes.
Yeah, so, I don't play enough.
No, that's not true, because I can just get Jai onto the co-stream.
Yeah, but if you're working your way around the co-streamers, I doubt Kitty's gonna have any idea what you're talking about when you say it's a full length ball.
But that could be half the humor, right? Just getting lost in the sauce of me making cricket references.
It's all right. We'll get it before some stumps by the end of the year, surely.
Yeah. Off to the nets with Kitty. Nah. No, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to start co-streaming and obviously representing Ground Zero. I think I should also shout out Ground Zero because this has been a pretty sad time in my life. I've really looked back on the PCS and LCP very fondly. Billy was the only one that really got to see, but I was bawling my fucking eyes out the second that camera was off.
We could hear it in
And
those. I heard it in those final moments. I was just like, oh,
yeah, I held it together as long as I possibly could. But it's like that's why I was delaying the like goodbye part because I knew as soon as
Yeah.
I do it, it's just fucking over.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it was very sad. But Billy was very supportive and gave me some nice words. And Ground Zero, importantly, have been really supportive of helping me like find a direction. So yeah, shout out to Ground Zero and obviously Billy and yourself, Mercury. Honestly, being able to do stuff like this is meaningful because I still want to be part of the LCP. It's something I love very dearly. So
Yeah, I mean, look, it came from a place of I've been there before. This is my 7th e-sport that I've worked at a high level at Oceania, so it's not something that I'm unfamiliar with, sadly. But yeah, look, it is what it is. Unfortunately, that's all you can really say about it.
yeah. Hopefully we can get everything up to the point where you're back on the mic full time. But I'm sure the co-stream there'll be some shenanigans for sure.
oh no. I can be unleashed now. I
Yeah.
can say what I really think about the play.
Yeah,
I'm
that
just
was-
excited to see
that
you
was,
and Courtney on a co-stream. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I've
but-
asked her. She's down, so that'll be cool.
What he hasn't told you is he made me swing by Kmart on the way to the studio on Sunday. So he's got a pool all lined up, ready to go. He's got a cute little outfit, and he's even got a second camera for his feet.
Ooh, damn. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were ready for that. Okay,
Patreon stream.
hell yeah.
He's full well ready.
Amazing. But with all that said and done, I think we'll end off the second ever episode of the Off Riff podcast here. We'll be back next week, and of course, all of us will be in various ways covering the LCP this weekend, starting Friday, 2 p.m. here, obviously 7 p.m. in Fairyland, wherever they are, and we'll be covering everything we can over the
Good
course
Middle Earth.
of over the course of the year.
No, they're Mad Max. We're Middle Earth.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
That's like the
He's in
coolest thing
Fairyland
about
for
your country.
Our time zone.
Yeah, no, but I've seen how they drive on roads in Perth. Yeah, I've seen that in the movies too.
Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah,
It's odd seeing people strapped to the bonnet of a car going down the
especially when they
highway
break right in
towards
front of you
Canning Vale.
and they mess up your radiator and you have to replace it for $400. That's a really fun experience here in
that's always a
Perth.
fun one.
Oh, $400 in Australia is not that hard to come by. Here in New Zealand, mate. Bloody oh boy, that's one
You have
carton
to
of
scavenge
eggs right
for
there.
it.
400 didgeridoos.
Yeah.
It's your whole
Yeah,
life.
unfortunately, we can't just go and bang a mine wherever we feel like.
It's like, oh fuck, I'm a bit poor. Let me go collect some coal.
Yeah. We just dig it up out of the backyard.
Yeah.
Apparently,
stuff.
our local land is a national treasure and not to be exploited for resources.
Gross. Where's the profit
Yeah.
in that?
Where's the capitalism?
Oh, it's the fucking hobbits, man. They keep
Yeah.
like making these laws because the hobbits are like losing their territory. Like the
Yeah.
Shire is getting smaller and smaller because as deforestation happens, some of their like little tree homes have been turned into firewood. But like,
Okay,
fuck.
so hobbits live in a hole. A mine is essentially a giant hole. How about we just ship them all to a mine and they can just live there and work there?
Might be some
That is
problems with
problem
that, but I like the move. I like the play. Anyway.
The Department of Conservation doesn't deal with mining, so we can outsource it to someone else.
Yeah, I'm sure Luxon or whatever his name is can get back to us
Yeah,
on
mate,
that.
No, he only deals with the eagles, mate. He only deals
Oh,
with
yeah.
the eagles, and even then they don't run on time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been a much shorter trilogy.
All right then. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be back
Jonathan
next week
Shending.
for some brand new action. Hopefully some more riveting conversations as always. And we'll see you there. Take care everyone.